Weeks passed in a haze of fear, grief, and numb shock. The machines never landed, never revealed themselves fully, but continued their systematic annihilation from the skies. I hid in the ruins of the city, scavenging what food and water I could, barely sleeping. Sometimes I encountered other shell-shocked survivors, hollow-eyed and filthy. We shared what meager supplies we had, swapped stories of what we'd seen. The devastation was the same everywhere. The armies of the world had crumbled in days. Governments collapsed. Humanity's reign over Earth had ended. In the absence of answers, wild theories circulated. Some thought the machines were a wrathful god's vengeance on our sins. Others speculated they were a doomsday weapon run amok, or that Earth's destruction was just collateral damage in some unimaginable interstellar war. I didn't know what to believe. All I knew was that the comfortable life I'd always taken for granted, the world that made sense, was gone forever. In its place was an apocalyptic nightmare populated by dust, debris, and the never-ending buzz of alien engines. As time went on, the attacks began to taper off, the machines perhaps satisfied that organized human resistance had been eliminated. An eerie quiet settled over the blasted landscape. Animals and birds slowly returned. I think that was the worst part, in a way. When the bombardments and terror were constant, there was no time to really process what was happening. But in the stillness afterward, the magnitude of it all crashed down on me. Everyone I'd known was almost certainly dead. Every place that had meaning to me had been erased from existence. I talked to myself constantly, trying to retain some grasp on sanity. I raged against the unfairness of it all, the meaninglessness. What had we done to deserve this? How could the universe let something so awful occur? My mind chased itself in circles, finding no solace. Sometimes I fantasized about fighting back, being a hero like in the movies. But that was pure delusion. What could one broken man do against a force that had crushed all of humanity's might in mere days? Deep down, I knew there was no resistance to be mounted, no 11th hour salvation. This was the end, and all that remained was to wait for death while bearing witness to our species' final days, to mourn all that had been lost. As the weeks became months, I felt my will to live ebbing. What was the point in going on if this was all that remained? An existence of scrabbling in the dirt, choking on the ashes of civilization, alone except for the pitiless gaze of our destroyers. I began to long for the anarchy of the invasion, the searing terror. At least that was a feeling. The aftermath was a numb grey fog of despair that clogged my lungs and made my limbs feel like stone.